On August 12, 1986, Ronald Reagan, regarded as one of the most beloved presidents of U.S. history, uttered these words.
I've always felt the 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help.
As cynical as the underlying sarcasm behind that thought is, the truth of the matter is that sometimes in our nation's history, we needed the government to help. And if we want a bright and successful future for our children and their children, we must stoically embrace those 9 most terrifying words. What is Ferc? During the 1920s and 30s, our country faced periods of crisis, hardship, and incredible growth. As we expanded our population across the 4 corners of this great land, our need and hunger for electricity grew in proportion. Our society began to construct hydroelectric dams and increase our generation and transmission of electricity, oil, and liquefied natural gas. Prophetically speaking, in 1850, British politician William Gladstone asked the scientist Michael Faraday, a historically important English natural philosopher who contributed to the study of electromagnetism and electrochemistry, why electricity was valuable. Faraday answered, "One day, sir, you may tax it." Thus, in June 1920, the Federal Power Act created an agency called the Federal Power Commission, empowered to regulate the interstate activities of the electric power and natural gas industries, and coordinated national hydroelectric power activities. The Commission's mandate called for it to maintain reasonable, non-discriminatory, and just rates to the consumer. This was to be the birth of the execution of those 9 words, I'm from the government and I'm here to help, especially when it came to the ravenous hunger our nation had for energy in all its forms. During the turmoil of the 1973 oil crisis, Congress stepped in to consolidate numerous energy-related agencies into the DOE, the Department of Energy.
We are heading toward the most acute shortages of energy since World War II.
But wisely, during this time, our elected officials decided that an independent regulatory agency needed the autonomy and authority to run effectively. This led to the FPC shedding its former outer skin and being reborn as the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, or FERC. FERC's most basic mission was to determine whether wholesale electricity prices were unjust and unreasonable, and, if so, to regulate pricing and order refunds for overcharges to ratepayers. But its reach did not stop there. Over the decades that followed, FERC was granted the regulation of interstate oil pipelines, the responsibility to ensure wellhead gas sales in both the intrastate and interstate markets are concordant, and to administer programs to foster new cogeneration and small power production. Approximately 1,600 hydroelectric projects in the U.S. partners with the U.S. Coast Guard to ensure the safety of our nation's LNG terminals and associated shipping. FERC is composed of up to 5 commissioners who are appointed by the President and confirmed by the Senate to staggered 5-year terms. It was the Energy Policy Act of 2005 that granted and expanded FERC's ability to create the blades and shields necessary to protect our fragile grid from physical and cyber attack. Order 693 and Order 706 were then created and mandated as the operations and planning standards, as well as the SIP standards. FERC was created by the government as an independent regulatory body to help the people. Its reach is both broad and extensive, and its role in our nation's energy continues to evolve as we do. Most recently, FERC enacted a rule providing incentive-based rate treatment for utilities making certain voluntary cybersecurity investments to further protect the safety and reliability of the BES. So the next time you fire up the grill to cook some hot dogs and hamburgers for a gathering or celebration, thank the men and women who tirelessly ensure that oil, electricity, and gas are delivered to you safely, and send an imaginary high five to FERC. Stay tuned next time for an in-depth look at FERC's distant cousin. What is NERC?